everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I have a super fast, super simple project to show you today. Now this is just an envelope, but it's not just any envelope. Very soon I will be posting a card, and this is the envelope for that card. So this is kind of your sneak peek, and I'll have to tell you, the card isn't going to be quite as simple as the envelope is, but they will tie together beautifully. So I have these gorgeous papers from My Mind's Eye. It is from the Family Collection pack, and this paper, it's 60-pound weight, and it calls it cardstock, but it actually has almost a suede-like feel to the top. And these are the same papers that I use in my card. So I went first of all to find my envelope, and actually I did the envelope before I did the card, or I found the envelope before I made the card because I needed a larger card than what I normally make. And so I went back into my stash and found the largest envelope that I had, and then I based the card around the envelope. So this is an envelope that will fit a 5x7 card. So this is the base envelope, and actually the colors coordinate pretty well with this pack. So what I've done is I cut, it's just a little bit bigger than 5x7 so that a 5x7 card would fit in it. So I took my red and I cut it actually at 5x7. So that's going to be the first layer. It's just the 5x7, the red. And we'll just adhere that down and get it as straight as we can and put that down. Then I took the next one, and instead of cutting it at what would normally we would do 4 1/4 by 5 1/8, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 to coordinate around that, I actually cut it down a little tiny bit more than that. So it's actually cut at 4 5/8 inches tall by 6 5/8 inches wide. And part of that is just because my paper snagged, but then now I'm glad I did, because that actually matches the edge of the border a little bit better, gives me a little bit more room. But before we adhere that here, I cut a couple little strips, and I didn't even measure these. I just kind of eyeballed them and decided how I wanted to cut them. And I'm going to do them first, and this is something that I don't normally do, but I'm going to actually work from the outside in because I am just kind of eyeballing it, and I want to make sure that it all fits before I adhere them down on each other. And that's, you know, if you're making cards, you don't have to be precise every time. In fact, it's kind of fun not to be. So I want to leave about the same amount of border edging around there and then around there, and that's just about how I want to do it. So let's go ahead and adhere down this piece. Now I want to butt this piece up to one edge and just have the border on 3 sides of this particular piece, because that's how I want this to run. Now I could do this one of 2 ways. I could do this way, but what I want to do is I want to just come out this way, which makes this side look a little bit unfinished. But my goal was to just kind of draw the eye in. I think one thing we could do, and this is kind of evolving as I go, let's see, which punch? Let's use the scallop punch. And let's just go ahead and punch this edge in here, just to add a little bit of extra interest. Paper's kind of hard to get through. Turn it right like that. You know, I think sometimes we put so much detail in like the card that we forget the packaging, and this is one of those times I did not want to do that. I didn't want to forget the outside. I wanted to make it special because this is really a pretty special card that's going in this package. And we're not mailing the card, which makes a difference. You have to be a little more careful when you're mailing the card, because you don't want to add a bunch of bulk and layers on the outside like I'm doing here, and then it all get torn up in the mail. So if you were doing something like this, maybe it would be a good idea to put this inside of like a cellophane envelope or something like that. But since I'm not mailing it, I felt like I could kind of go a little bit wild with this card. So there we go. Now this, I left this open on purpose because this would be normally where you could write your the recipient's name, but I decided I'm not going to write it. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough stickers of any one set to do the stickers, so I went back through, and these were actually some stamps that I was going to get rid of, and I found these Studio G alphabet stamps. And so it's not going to be perfect, and in fact you have to be pretty careful with these stamps, which was part of the reason I wasn't going to keep them, because they're very easy to rock. But I thought, you know what, I will put them on here kind of wonky so that it doesn't have to be perfect, and you'll never know. Or I'll just put them together at different angles. So this one is for my friend Melissa. Oops, I about put too many L's in her name. And let's kind of go wonky that way. And I'm using some of this nice archival black ink and kind of a type, almost just a type script. There we go, Melissa. Okay, so there we have just a simple envelope, just kind of makes the envelope look a little bit nicer. And come back soon and I'll show you the card that went inside of it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Okay, so I'm back. When I was all done, I didn't like the way this side looked unfinished, so this is what I did. I took a piece of the red and I cut a 1-inch square, and then I took a piece of the yellow and I cut a 7/8" square, and I adhered them together, and then I just cut them from point to form 2 little corners, and I adhered those down. And that makes it look a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more finished, a little bit cuter. So thanks for watching.